what to go for today. If in doubt, go for Sakura. So yes, good morning. It is that time again. It's another fitness fragrance face-off. So essentially, if you haven't seen these recently, I've been doing a morning workout. So I go for a run, walk to the gym, do a gym workout, walk back, all while facing two fragrances off against each other. And we rank them on 5 categories. So they're price / value for money, their versatility, so how much you can use them in different situations, projection. So again, I'll do a room spray test, see how much it fills the room, how much I noticed it during my run this morning. Compliment factor. So again, is it good for compliments? Do people say good things? What's my experience of compliments? And then also longevity. How long do these fragrances actually survive on my skin? And that's when I go to the gym, have a shower, and just see if I can still smell it on my arm after. So essentially, we are looking at Sakura today. Sakura is a note in both of these fragrances. It's very prominent. This is actually a clone fragrance of Aqua de Palma Sakura. If you don't know what Sakura is, it's like a cherry blossom, by the way. It's almost like you'd almost tell it's very floral, very, very floral. And then this one here is Lush's body spray of Sakura, as the name says, Sakura being the heart of both these fragrances. So yeah, what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly spray these on, just talk a little bit more about them, and yeah, we'll then get ready for our run. So obviously, these are not just Sakura, there's other notes in these fragrances as well. Pink pepper is prominent in this one, and what I really like with Lush as well, they don't give a huge note breakdown, but they just tell you a little about it. But this one, pink pepper, cherry blossom, and musk, very much the heart of that. This one here says, drift along on a cherry blossom breeze with this uplifting bouquet of mimosa and orange flower absolutes. This one's definitely more zesty. This one's definitely more like that clean washing laundry type smell. And they're both very pleasant. I really like them both. So I'm just going to quickly just spray them. Yeah, and that's what you detect in the opening here. More that sort of orange citrus. It's very citrusy, and then it does sort of start to dry down now. And that's when you get Sakura, that's when you get a bit more of the florals coming through as well. Very strong fragrance, that one. Worn it a lot. It's the second time I've owned it. And it's one of those, again, floral fragrances can be quite long lasting in general. That one certainly is, again, being a 200ml bottle, super strong atomizer. It certainly performs much better than just a body spray, as they call them. Then Devane 770, this is a clone of Aqua de Palma. Devane is a clone house. And I'm very surprised they've even ever cloned this fragrance. Sakura by Aqua de Palma, it's not the one you sort of think of. When you think of Aqua de Palma, you think of just the original Colonia mainly. You think of maybe their leather, their oud, just really strong fragrances, iconic fragrances, where Sakura's a little bit forgotten in the pack. Again, it's an amazing scent, that's why I bought it. And as a clone, to clone this and clone it so well, that's great. I've had a few Devane ones, a bit hit and miss, I must admit. It's a Spanish company. They are a little bit hit and miss, but this one is really, really good. So what I'm going to quickly do, I can't stop smelling that. That is so nice. It's really nice. I'm really interested to know how these do today, because it's a very close competition, this one. Again, all around the note of Sakura. Which one is going to be the Sakura king? Apologies if I'm rattling like a toy. I've got so many zips on me. Just literally rattle everywhere, but at least it means people can hear me when I go by them. So price / value for money for these two fragrances, these two Sakura forward fragrances. Well, you would have seen the Lush body spray on their website is £32, and at the moment they've got a bit of a sale, but I'll be honest with you, those sales are a bit of a hoax. They're always on a sale. It's about £16. I've seen it go down to about 12, 13 in the past as well, and I expect around the new year it will do. So when you see this video, it'll probably be a bit cheaper. But anyway, which one do I think is the better value for money? Well, I'm going to give the winner to this round to the Devane fragrance. I say this for 2 reasons. Look, you could argue it's a 200ml bottle for the Lush one, so 100ml, £16, they're about the same price range. The thing with this one, this clone, this Devane clone, it's fantastic. I mentioned it earlier on, and it smells 90% the same as the Aqua de Palma fragrance, and I think Aqua de Palma does the best clean floral type fragrances. What Lush is brilliant at is doing simplicity well, and what I really like with the Sakura one is, they've got these 3 or 4 notes and that's it, but they never smell that well blended. They just smell very natural, and it's quite rough around the edges, and I think it could benefit from a little bit of musk or something else just to tame that zestiness down. and bring that Sakura out a little bit more, bring that cherry blossom out a tiny bit more. And that's where the Devane clone does really well. It's not as harsh, it's not as in your face, it's not as aggressive in that sense, because I believe the musk's in it. The pink pepperoni only has that slight sparkle, but it really makes Sakura the heart of the fragrance. You really detect it. And that's when I first got an appreciation for Sakura as a note, was just smelling it from the original Acqua di Parma. And this one's replicated that really well. And when you're trying to replicate a fragrance that smells, you know, 200 odd pound, and you're paying only £16 for it, that's pretty impressive. Yeah, it's probably not quite as strong as the original, but I think the floral fragrances, that's not too bad. And I think for this one, we'll talk about versatility next. I just think you can use it more, and I think for a lot of people it'd be more of a signature scent. So for that reason, just because I think you can dress it up a little bit more as well, I'm going to give this round to Sakura for price slash value for money. But again, I think they're both excellent value for money. We'll go on to versatility next. Okay then, so on to versatility. So I think I'm going to have to retract a little bit of what I said a minute ago, because I said the Devane 770, the Acqua di Parma Sakura clone, bit of a tongue twister there, not easy to say it running, it's probably better for versatility. I'd use it in more situations. Now for me that might be true. I think it's definitely got more depth and complexity, there's a little bit more notes going on, and I feel like if I wanted a signature scent out of the two, I'd want that one to reflect my personality more than Lush Sakura. But I think the simplicity of Lush Sakura's body spray actually means it's going to win this round on versatility. Look, it's not as... both these fragrances, if we're talking about seasons, I think we're talking mainly spring and a cool summer's morning, and maybe fall as well. And I think if you're talking about that cooler month, I'd rather wear the Devane 770 Sakura Acqua di Parma clone. But where the Lush Sakura body spray levels up, yes, it's maybe more simplistic, but it's certainly stronger. I'm noticing it more on my run this morning. So I think it evens the playing field out a little bit, because it's a stronger fragrance. It'll cut through the cold grain better than that one, even if it doesn't have the same depth in the notes. And that more simplistic note breakdown, and the fact it's probably more orange citrus heavy than cherry blossom heavy, I think would make it more wearable for a younger person. Whereas I think the Devane 770 has definitely got that element of sophistication which an older person would appreciate more, because it's cloning Acqua di Parma, which is a house for a more grown-up person, somebody who's integrated a little bit more than your beginner entry level. So I think even today, when I'm thinking of running the gym, if I was going out casually with friends, I just think Lush Sakura is going to do a little bit more, different ages, and again, notes that aren't going to be too daring, and it's probably not quite as feminine. I think the cherry blossom is a very feminine sort of note, and my brother likes Sakura, but he does think it's more suited to a woman. I love florals in general, I love rose, but I can see why some men wouldn't. So I think for that reason, the fact that the Lush one is a little bit more citrus heavy, a bit more fizzy, will make it more wearable for men as well. And yeah, I think for that reason I've got to give the point for versatility to that one. So I'm backtracking a little bit. Even though I prefer the Devane 770, I'd probably pick it over the two if I had to reach for one. It's not about me all the time, Harry, it's about everyone else. And I think versatility there has got to go to Sakura body spray from Lush. So it's 1-1. We'll talk about projection when I get back. The workout done. Sorry, that looks a bit odd, doesn't it? Pull that back over. It looks like the middle of the night. I need to keep my high vis on. So I'm going to spray my room now. So if you haven't seen this before, essentially I spray my room. I'm going to do 5 times with each fragrance. And really what I'm testing for here is projection. So if someone came into the room, how much would they notice the fragrance? And then what I'll do, let's just do that first. So that's the Devane 770 and Sakura from Lush. So what I'm going to also do is just quickly spray my arms, do that next, because we're going to test for longevity later on. So in 3 hours time when I get back from the gym. And problem is I've got so many long sleeves on at the minute, so I'll have to get the fragrance on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's for longevity later on after I shower test. But what I'm going to do now, while I let those fragrances just sort of sit in the air master them a little bit. I'm going to go down, talk about projection on my run. How much did I notice the two, for instance? Did I notice one more than the other? And then obviously when we come back up, we'll give a score on projection overall. So good. Peach tea. It tastes just like, peach yogurt. Delicious. I need to get a peach fragrance at some point. But anyway, we're not talking about peach today. We're talking about Sakura. So which fragrance did I notice? Did I notice either fragrance during my run? To be honest, not really. Normally at the start of the videos you see me spray my top. I actually forgot to spray my coat today, but I did spray the layer underneath because I've actually got 3 layers on. And what I did, so I got a little bit warm 2 miles in, so I unzipped my coat, soon cooled down again because I always get colder as I go along running. When in the process of zipping it up, that's when I noticed the fragrance. And the one I could smell was actually the Devane 770, not the Sakura from Lush, the body spray. And I'm quite surprised by that. I do think now I'm standing here at the moment, the one I can smell, because obviously I sprayed miles for my longevity test later, is the body spray from Lush. So it's going to be really interesting at the moment. I think in terms of the room spray test here, I don't think either are going to really fill a room. Again, I expect sweeter notes to sort of stick a little bit more. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if either get picked up. I think if one does, though, it'll be the Lush body spray, just because, again, it's a bigger mist. And I think if we went on an hour later, it'd probably be the other one. There's a little bit more depth to the Devane 770 clone. But it'd be very interesting to see. Again, they're both floral heavy. Florals can be quite strong at times. Just don't think it's going to quite work in this cooler weather. But yeah, finish this, we'll head upstairs and we'll give a score on projection. Here we go. What can we smell? Can we smell, detect anything? Yes, we can. Wow, I'm very surprised. That Lush Sakura body spray is super strong. That's filling a room. Wow, that is really filling a room. I'm really surprised. I think I did a review on this the other week and it didn't do that well on this. Maybe it did. Maybe I'm wrong. But I'm certainly surprised. I've not had this experience of being this strong so much, in terms of filling a room. It's always been quite strong on clothing, but not so much in the air. That's super strong. For the first hour, again, it's more that orangey zestiness I'm getting more than anything. I think it will drop off after an hour or two. But for that first hour, if you've sprayed 5 or 6 sprays like I just did, you're going to be noticed. And it's not too, it doesn't smell, like I said, Lush body sprays can be quite gourmand. They can smell almost like food. Not this one. It smells like a fragrance. A little bit fuzzy, as I said, not that well blended together, but extremely pleasant. It's not done in a bad way at all. For that reason, very easy winner here. Lush Sakura body spray wins this round. So what we're going to do, we're going to head to the gym now. I'm going to walk down. We're going to talk about compliment factor. So have I had any experience of compliment with these fragrances? And which one do I think would be better if we're talking about buying them for compliments? It is chilly this morning. It's really cold. It's cooled down even since I ran this morning. So compliment factor. Do I think these are compliment getting fragrances first of all? Well, I'll be honest, I don't think the note of Sakura is necessarily something I think of when I think of compliments. It's not something I would reach for in particular. However, I have had compliments on the Lush Sakura body spray quite a lot, again, particularly when I was working in schools. There was a lady who I worked with called Claire who just really liked it. It didn't matter if it was 4, 5, 6 hours later. She always noticed that one. And that's what I think with this one. It's probably stronger than I give it credit for. It's probably why I shouldn't be too surprised it did really well in the projection test. Sometimes maybe you need to almost step away from it and come back to realise how strong it actually is, because it is a super heavy fragrance, particularly in that opening. But yeah, it's not even one, even though I've had some good comments on it, it's certainly not one I'd sort of mention for compliments a lot of the time. But in recent times my brother's had it and I have picked him up on it, maybe more because I recognised it. And then Devane 717, I've kind of really just, I've got more of a scent memory of that one. I remember taking it on holiday. There was only one fragrance I wanted to take. I took that one to an Isle of Wight holiday, but again, I've never really worn it for those situations, trying to get any compliments in particular. So I think if we're talking about compliment getting fragrances, I don't think either of them are particularly that, but they will get them. It's just ones that you wouldn't necessarily think or expect would. And again, sometimes I think there's better fragrances for different situations. I think these are quite good all-rounders in general, but maybe not the master of anything. And I don't think they're the master of compliments either. So which one would I give? If I had to wear one for compliments, it's probably more than anything. It's just because I think it would cut through that sort of the cold a little bit more. It's a little bit stronger. Probably Lush Sakura body spray. I just think it's more going to get compliments through its strength and the fact it's a little bit more simplistic. Do I think it smells as classy? Do I think it'll get the higher end compliments like the Devane one? Maybe not. I think if you really like that Devane fragrance like I do, like the Sakura, as it's an Active Palmer cologne, you'll probably compliment that one a bit stronger. But I think if you're just wanting general more good comments than just real top comments, but maybe fewer comments, I think that's what you're going to get with that one. So for that reason, just from my own personal experience of getting compliments from it, and the fact it's a little bit more wearable for more people, a little bit more simplistic, and that versatility and strength it just has over the other one, Lush Sakura body spray wins this round again. But of course, it's not over yet. It may be 3-1 in the score, but of course, if anyone compliments one of the fragrances and it's the Devane one at the gym, the score will change, the round will change. So hopefully we'll get some compliments today. It's nearly Christmas after all. So workout done, no compliments. Look at my hair. Put a bit of Vaseline on my feet today to make it a bit softer running. Put it through my hair and it's made it go absolutely wild. Anyway, so how much did I notice the fragrances? To be honest, quite a lot. And definitely the Lush Sakura is a bit nicer for the gym. It's a little bit more citrusy, not quite as musky, floral. That one just smells to me better. It's a better fragrance to dress up essentially. It's just not as casual, let's put it that way. And that Lush Sakura is just really nice, fizzy, and actually with on my skin chemistry where it's definitely become a little bit more peppery as well. It seems to work really well with that. So yeah, obviously now it's important to do the longevity. So we're gonna have a quick shower, then when I come out of the gym we'll see which one's the strongest. I think I'm pretty confident that Lush might win this round as well. Okay then, it's just gone 12 o'clock. It's time to smell my arms and see if I can smell either fragrance, see if they've survived the shower. Is Sakura a good survivor after a shower? Right, I can smell them both. Neither are very strong. I must say that now. They're probably both about 30% each. I'd probably say it's much the same, so it's quite difficult with longevity. However, what I would say is the Lush Sakura body spray has certainly become really zesty now. It's almost lost a bit of that Sakura vibe. It's become very sort of peppery on my skin, let's say. Whereas the other one, the Devane 770, feels a bit cleaner, feels a bit more like that clean, musky washing smell. And it's still got that slight sort of cherry blossom vibe to it. And I personally think it's more pleasant. I think there's a little bit more depth to this one, as I was saying before, a little bit more complexity. And I think, which one do I now prefer? If it was going through the day, my skin chemistry's affected the fragrance, which one do I think smells the best if I didn't have to reapply? I'd probably want to reapply on a hot day, a cool day like today. If I wasn't exercising, it'd probably be fine. I'd probably say the Devane 770 I prefer. I think it's a little bit more wearable, a little bit softer, you know, not quite as harsh, aggressive. I think other people around me would prefer that, and I just think it'd be the one that I wouldn't want to wash off as much as the Sakura body spray. So for that reason, I'm actually going to give the round here to Devane 770. So overall then, that means we have one winner, and it was 3 rounds to 2, and that was the Lush body spray. So the first round today, price touch value for money, Devane won, and it also won the last one on its longevity. But those middle rounds was where it was lost today. I think the Lush one is a little bit more versatile. It's good for compliments, and it's also just that one that projects that little bit more. And I think really, if I had to separate the two, it'd probably just be on that projection overall. I think the projection overall was probably the thing that was the biggest difference between the two, and that's, for me, someone who likes strong fragrance, that's the thing that stands out the most. So yeah, that is our overall winner today. But I do want to both, well, I just add, they're both fantastic fragrances. If you don't know the note of Sakura, these are a great one to start with. Personally, I think if you're looking for the note in particular, just that, literally that one note, go for the Devane clone. And if you really want to, go for the Acqua Palma Sakura, because it is an amazing fragrance. It's one of my all-time favourites. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this one today.